Alright, can you hear me again? Okay. Now finally everything is set up again. Please let me know if the music is too loud. I am trying out new stuff in OBS and yeah. Please let me know if everything is alright or if I need to change something. Let me try out. Okay, this is better for now. So now I am starting out on her necklace, which consists of a lot of small links, so I have to draw them separately. Can't just draw a straight line down here and then change it into links. There have to be those holes in the middle. So let me know, how are you guys today? What sports do you do? Are you going for a run or like in a fitness center? Ah, cool. I played basketball too when I was younger, but only in school because I had to choose a sport and yeah, I didn't like to go dancing with the other girls, so I joined basketball because I'm pretty tall as well, so that fit. I was never any good though. Oh, you've been to New York? And I already wondered where you were. I need to adjust a little thing here. All right. Alright, now for the other thingy. Wow, 15 hours, that's a lot. So did you get to enjoy anything of the city, or was it just meetings? I personally would hate to do such a thing because yeah, flying. I was only on 2 planes as a flying passenger on my way to Ibiza and back, and I didn't like it very much, so such a long flight seems pretty nightmarish for me. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yes, I heard there were riots. Okay, I'm now going to do some basic shadings on her, what is it called, necklace? The amulet is a small octopus. So I want to bring out some of these shadings. They won't be as perfect as like, I don't want to say perfect, but as detailed as in the face, because I know there's going to be a lot of water running down this picture soon, and on such a tiny thing it will probably get lost anyway soon. What's chipotle? I think we don't have that here. Is that a restaurant or a dish? Oh, I think I would like that too. I like spicy foods. But we have only very few places in Germany with Mexican food. Hello, Smart 69. I am fine, thank you very much. I just want to do this little stream because before I have to leave again soon, because I have 2 students arriving later. I'm not an official art teacher, but I can teach art, and over the last few weeks I have been teaching a girl who's very interested in drawing horses, and so I am going to help her with her quest. And And today she's bringing a friend too. And it will be probably very much fun as usual when she comes. Oh, she's very shy. I don't think she would be alright with me streaming her. But basically it would be a good idea to have an actual student here. The portrait is of Bridget, who is a submitter in Reddit Gets Drawn. You can find the link in the panel below my stream. She was even so kind to join the stream yesterday. It's always nice to meet people from the internet a bit closer. Especially since I am spending literal hours staring at her face, so it's really nice. Okay, do I want to change anything else? Because I'm almost finished and ready to go to the second stage of the painting. Sorry, I don't get that. What wouldn't you say in every case? Ah, okay, yeah. But I usually enjoy chatting with people from Reddit Gets Drawn. It's a rather respectful community. And they have very, very strict mods. So I never met any trolls there, which is nice. I did 2 oil portraits. I did post one of them. I didn't post the one with the skull girl yet because I'm not I wasn't satisfied with it, and I did some more work on it, and right now it is drying. So as soon as it is a bit more dry, I will post it. So now I'm taking out these, which are watercolor pencils with a pretty high pigmentation, so they are very intense. They even say Inktense on this, so must be true. Okay, if you take a look at the reference, you can see that she's a redhead. So I am taking this as a shadow color, which is deep indigo, and do the lights with cherry and tangerine. Wait, do I want to do her face first? I do her face first, it's safer. Okay. Because I will only be applying hints of color on there, I'll be taking these watercolors, not the Inktense ones. Also, I'll tilt the portrait a bit, so the water can flow freely from top to bottom. You may be thinking that I'm ruining the whole piece right now, but maybe I am. Hopefully I'm not. But you will be able to see very interesting textures soon. So also during stream, this area may stay as wavy as it is, but I will show it again once it's completely dry. I have to be a bit careful at this stage because this is very thin paper. It's usual drawing paper, not watercolor paper, so it rips easily if it gets wet. And if I apply too much pressure, it will be hurt. I can attempt to do it, but it won't be like naturalistic freckles. If I would paint her in oil, I would probably add them. But it's very hard in watercolor, so they still look like they do in real life and not some random color blobs. So I'm actually not, probably not painting her freckles, but it's not because I dislike freckles, it's because it's very hard to do. So I should probably take freckling lessons from someone soon. Because I should actually be able to do it, but I'm not. Maybe with oil, but not with watercolor. There was a serious discussion a while back in Reddit Gets Drawn about freckled people and yeah, basically people with features that are often not drawn or painted, and one artist was very mad about that because he said that the artists left it out because they found it ugly and therefore didn't cherish the human being who had these freckles, for example. But yeah. I see that all a bit differently. That's a very, very good question, really. Because sometimes I look at a reference and think, whoa, that's a good reference for a pyrography. I almost said it correct. And sometimes I just see a good reference and then I think, but what would be the right technique for that? For example, here Bridget could have been a pyrography as well, or an oil painting. This was not, the reference was not just limited to this technique. But the day I sketched her, I felt like doing some charcoal and watercolor again, which I haven't done in a long, long time. And so I chose this technique. So I'm just seeing this orange here is not as intense as you see it on screen. It's burnt sienna, I think. Yes. Oh, I just saw this here. No. Whenever I leave an area with a sharp edge, yeah, it's gonna be a hard edge. If I do this with a paper tissue, it's becoming a soft edge and looks a lot more harmonic. These hard edges, however, look more dramatic. So this won't be a full color portrait, as you're probably used from watercolor. It will be very mellow, because I will be respecting the gray within this picture. It's not like the watercolors that I do, where the underdrawing is just an underdrawing. This will be a further part of the final painting. Okay. I've got a huge wave right here. When it dries, it will vanish again. Okay. I leave the colors as soft as they are right now, except here maybe. Have I mentioned that this brush is made of pony hair? It's a fantastic brush. By the way, for those who don't know, in the reference she's wearing some heavy makeup, and I decided to draw her natural instead. I did that on purpose because I found her a lot more pretty without it. Yes, she wore it as part of a costume though. She's dressed as mermaid in this. But I could add some subtle blue spots on her skin. Maybe some cyan or something. So this is what watercolors look like before they get onto my palette, in case you didn't know or only knew these little pots with paint in them. This is actually not dry, wet basically. And can be applied more thickly onto the paper. I'm very sure I will paint a full watercolor portrait soon, and when I do that I can show you the advantages of these colors. Hello Mike's Quest, by the way. I hope you're alright today. Usually they are in these, what did you call it? Little puck-shaped heart things. That's the image most people have of watercolors, but you can actually buy them in high quality as well. often they come in these tubes, and these tubes have advantages over these puck-shaped thingies. One of them being that you can apply the watercolor a lot thicker. Around her eyes I am, as usual, especially careful, so I don't hurt anything. Watercolors are a lot more free if you don't do them at school, basically. At school you learn only that one thing with these inexpensive colors. And I can actually understand why some people think that is stupid. I mean, watercolor. So she has brown eyes, light brown eyes. Also, one thing that is very important about watercolor paintings is that once you get an area colorized, you can never get it white ever again. I mean purely white. You can of course lift, but it will never be as white as this, for example. So watercolor takes a lot of concentration, with portraits at least, because these areas need to stay white. This must be hard to look at for you guys, but I assure you it will be alright once it dries. When I did this technique the first time, I was freaking out on the inside. I mean, I wasn't shouting or anything, I was just very, very scared. Okay, I'll leave the area for now, so it has a chance to dry a bit, but I can do this. Yeah, I very, very rarely shout, ever. Alright, I originally wanted to do the hair with these Inktense pencils, but right now I'm thinking that it's probably better if I stick to this palette. Also, I will need some yellow. But it doesn't want to come out of the tube. Now it does. I think I like this here, yellow. What was it? Cadmium? No, it was brilliant yellow. I like this brilliant yellow. So the nice thing about watercolors is when you get something on your fingernail and it sticks there, you can just still use it. It's so much pigment. Now that's not a real pro tip, but it still works. My fingernails as palette. So while I'm applying the color, charcoal will dissolve from the paper because I didn't use fixative or anything on purpose. So I always have this have gray that merges with the color. That's how this mellow effect is created. Hi, Miss Sophia, how are you? The Indian yellow? I don't have an Indian yellow. That's probably a Bob Ross color. Ah, you try linseed oil. You had oil colors at home? I figure. Now you only have to get thinner too, and you can start working with 50-50 medium, which is even more amazing than pure linseed oil because it dries a lot faster. Now that was intense. But it's not as bad as long as the color hasn't settled. I actually don't own a single Bob Ross color. I should probably try them sometime to see how they are quality-wise. My goal in this is to let the colors shine between these dark lines. To keep the contrast so you can see the curls. And the last color I will be applying for this area is Burnt Umber. As usual, one of my favorite shading colors, because it's so unobtrusive. It's always blends nicely with other colors. So now I will do the next little area. And as you can see, her forehead is already settling down again. It's not as high as it was. If you put more than one layer or coat of color onto paper, it needs to dry before you apply the second coat. The only exception is if you take professional watercolor paper. That stuff is really, really thick and can take quite a beating with the brushes. But this usual paper will rip. I will probably do a second coat of color onto this, just to bring in some effects. Like with watercolor you can create such nice effects with the floating colors, or with a straw you can apply splooshes of color and then blow them all over the face, for example. It looks pretty interesting. Damn, I did really say that. Guess that will stick with me for the rest of my life then. I feel so important right now. Okay. So the hair on this part of her face is almost done now, which means I can think about what I am going to do next. Because I don't want to do any areas that are like directly next to this very wet part of the picture. Also, if you guys ever want to paint with watercolor, never use just one color. Always use at least two, because it's so beautiful if they merge. And you are missing out on a huge part of the fun if you don't let them flow into each other. And yeah, it's part of the flow for me, I think. You mean green because of the makeup, or because it's the complementary contrast? Either way, I can bring in green, but I'd rather use blue instead, because this isn't a high intensity color painting, and it will never be, because of the charcoal and watercolor synergy. So if I would make these color blocking, bring in color blocking elements like green and red with her hair, it would lose the mellow theme of this portrait. I don't know, do you get what I mean? Also, I have to look out the word teal, because I don't know that. I don't believe that you come out, you ask creative questions anyway. Also, I read on Wikipedia that creativity only means that you rearrange patterns that you have learned in the past to new patterns. Like when I learned charcoal and later learned watercolor, I came up with the idea to merge them. I don't know though if I'm perfectly alright with that explanation from Wikipedia. Also, for most of the stuff I do in stream, I am indeed open for suggestions. Always very glad to hear what you people think about this. Okay, so this is my big ponytail brush, and with that I'm going to wetten this area. Because this edge is already dried, I can go on. I naturally want to create an edge right here. Okay. Now that looks weird because of my lamp, but it will be less intense soon. So some Venice yellow. After that, I'll bring in the sienna. And because it's on a bigger brush than before, it will be even less pigment in, because it's mixed with more water. Okay, I will clip off the camera for a second. You can see the part is getting wavy here again because I've just made it wet. But this part is almost dry again, so that's an advantage of very thin paper. It dries faster. Hello Didi, how are you? Does the charcoal run at all or smear from the water? Yes, it smears, but not very much. You can still blend it with water. So I'm using that to my advantage because I was very calculated in the sketch I did earlier yesterday. If I had like thick charcoal like this, it would smear very much. I of course didn't want that and use this blending tool to rub the charcoal deeper into the paper like this. And after that is done, the main structure of what you drew stays on. And yes, I chose thin paper over usual watercolor paper because you get different effects with this. Also, you can't draw with charcoal very well on watercolor paper. The structures within watercolor papers are too rough, so the outcome often isn't very good if you use charcoal on that. I'm very sure though that I will do a regular watercolor portrait soon because it's very fun. Also, I have worked so much with oil lately that I have almost completely abandoned watercolor. So it's time to get back to that. And thank you, I'm fine as well. I will sadly only be able to continue for another quarter of an hour because my students are coming soon. Okay, so I could do the eyebrows. I will use almost the similar colors as in the hair. I think they are a bit more brownish in the reference. The problem is that she drew over them with some green. So I'm not sure if I'm 100% correct. But it looks rather darkish. On stream this looks a lot more intense, the eyebrow I mean, than in real life. I should add that. Okay. Maybe you see better now. It's not as intense. Also, because I've worked with water right here, these areas have lost a bit of their contrast. I need to correct that. Can I already? Maybe. go. Because it gives so much nicer effects if you blend two colors. I will also have to redo her eyelashes, but that's not a problem. I only have to wait until it's dry again. So oops, that was too close, but never mind. Okay. Okay. I just reworked this area to give it back the plasticity, and I did a little experiment, which is why I was so silent because I was just seeing what happens. This wasn't calculated or anything. Okay, I do that as well for the other side, for face. just making little dots and leave space between them, so this area stays whitish. And then I bring in a second color and let some of that pigment flow into the little dots I already painted. Now I bring in the third color. And last but not least, Venice Yellow, the fourth color. So I get some kind of gradient while using pointillistic methods, basically. There was a whole artist group who only painted with this with dots. Yes, pointillism. It just took me like 3 minutes or so to realize what DW meant. I think your spelling is correct. I could be wrong too though, but I would write it the same. And the artist is written correctly. Alright, I'm bringing this to an end now because I have to get ready for my art students. Oh, Tatakabog, thank you for following. So nice of you. But I will certainly continue tomorrow. I hope I can be online like I was today from 1 o'clock until about 3 o'clock, because tomorrow I have to go to work again and I have to drive at approximately 3 o'clock, or I will be late and my colleagues will be... Wow, thank you so much! That's so cool! New webcam, here I come! Thank you, Akan. And Thirkum Zenithal, thank you as well for following. This is so cool of you guys. Thank you for being here. I think tomorrow you will be able to see what this is heading towards, because it's not the classic technique of watercolor, and it hasn't dried yet, so you can see the full impact of this tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. I will be in chat for a few more minutes, but I'll cancel the stream now. I hope you all have a very nice day, and I hope it's not as rainy where you are as it is here, because it's awful. Oh, and also have a nice weekend as well. That's important. Goodbye guys, see you tomorrow.